Hello, and thanks for joining the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun, your regular host on the show. Today on the program, Osinbajo meets IG as mobile policemen protest against unpaid 5-month allowances in Maiduguri. Jonah Jang denies having a hand in plateau killings as Pastor Adeboye says killings are unacceptable. And later on the show, court grants Dansuki 200 million naira bail, declares that the former NSA's detention illegal. I'll be hanging out with Wahid Bakari, Olayinka Oyegbile, and Asukwo James. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Glad to have you join us on Journalist Hangout. Our country, Nigeria, is becoming a place for enactment of oddities and absurdities. Nigerians were treated to such on Monday when some policemen protested against the non-payment of their allowances in Maiduguri, Borno State. The officers posted there since January to beef up security in the troubled state took to the streets over unpaid 6-month allowances. The police has, however, debunked the incident as a protest, even when videos of the gun-wielding and waving policemen had gone viral. But Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo met behind closed doors with the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, at the Presidential Villa in Abuja after the incident. Outcome of the meeting was, however, not made public. Are the two events connected or mere coincidental? But let us hear from the mobile policemen. This is the video we got from Maiduguri.
We are mobile. We are from different places. They have not been paying us, no feeding, even the accommodation, no way. They are maltreating us. For CP cut our uses, he discussed with them that the money is with him to pay us. Now, he refuses to pay, and we are not feeding. Soldier is collecting their money. Civilian jeters are collecting their money. It's only mobile.
We beg you for God's sake, if truly Mr. President is a democratic president, he should intervene into this matter. He should intervene into this matter. I'm telling you, we are begging you, let the Mr. President intervene into this matter. We are fighting for our rights.
What a shame, I will tell you. And in spite of this video, the police public relations officer came out to say nothing like this ever happened. And I felt so deflated that the institution called Nigerian Police is being brought down. Asukwo.
It's seriously very shameful that those who are supposed to protect us are being maltreated in such a manner. 5 months unpaid allowances. And not that these guys are just, you're deploying them from their base to another base. And not just an ordinary, a war-torn area.
So that means special attention should have been paid.
Exactly, whether they are for the Operation Lafia Dole or not. Provided they are police officers, they are in Borno for a special project. So their allowances, where they would have stayed, their welfare should have been adequately taken care of before they get there. You know, this is not the first time I'm seeing this or hearing about. In Lagos, there was a time some police officers protested against their salaries being deducted. And even if we go during elections, which we have covered several times, we have seen police officers being deployed to a particular state, and the next thing you see them lying down on the floor at the police command headquarters. Because
some of these allowances for election, 800 naira.
Oh, you understand?
You see at the police command, they are sitting very close and
to
they
the
have their back
and all
and the gutter.
That is where they are having everything.
The state capital. So it's always a common sight.
We don't place value on the lives of these guys. And these are the guys that are opening their eyes for us to sleep. It is very, very sad. When I saw this yesterday, I was saying, why this? And then the PRO came out and said it was not a protest.
It's a lie.
So what do you call this?
Pathological lie.
What do you call this? It's not a protest. Okay, they were just shouting or playing 10-10 outside. No. this is not what we should be saying at this point. But the IG himself has been, I don't know what to say about the IG, because he has been having one issue to the other. Is it that it doesn't have a grip, or it doesn't have a hands-on of what is happening in that unit?
And Waheed, I'm sure it's in fear of victimization. That's why they had to just cover their faces and everything, and that was done well, because if they had granted that interview and they had seen their faces, somebody would have come from them. Now, I know you can't do this in the military anyway. If you do this in the military, that is regarded as mutiny. But police is different. Now, for us to have this kind of thing, and it says a lot if men of the Nigerian police force, because I went to Abuja 2 weeks ago, and I was at the APC convention, and after, aside the convention, anytime I will have to go to my OB van where my other guys are staying, and I will run into a policeman who will say, please, I want to see you. There's something going on in the police that is unfair. Civil defense will call you, I want to see you. There's something our bosses are doing to us that is not fair. And everybody feel that because I have this platform, that it will be an avenue for you to hear their grievances and come to this platform to say it. But in like 24 hours, the number of policemen that came to me, and some are even watching me right now, they've been calling me that, look, gratuities, pensions, and some other issues. Right now, it's on the line of the job now.
Yes, that is quite unfortunate. That shows the level of rot that we now have in our society. Whether we like it or not, there are some postings that some of these guys consider to be juicy, and for them to be there, they have to lobby their way.
Does this fall?
But in this case, we are talking of
you
took people to a war zone.
War zone.
There have been cases whereby people were posted to Maiduguri. They were either abscond or resign. But these are the guys that, they agree to be there for there to be peace and security in the country. And they are being treated this way. It's quite shameful. Because, I mean, how do you treat people like this for 5 good months? And if you look at what they said they have complained in the past and nobody listened to them. I'm very sure it were to be 1 month, they wouldn't have gone on the street to protest. And information is very vital. It's very key. We are all communicators. We know the importance of information. Now, if for whatever reason, for whatever genuine reason, you could not pay them, why is it difficult for you to call them before it gets to this stage to say, look, these are the efforts we are making. Your money has not been appropriated. And if it has not been appropriated, there's nothing we can do about it. If you talk to them, there's no way they will listen. All this one that they are doing is an afterthought. Now you ask the commissioner of police to go and address them. The commander of mobile police to go there. Why didn't you do that before now? Why didn't you do that before now? Because you consider that they are worthless. Their bosses are enjoying all the privileges you can think of in the world. And you will be shocked if you know the amount of money they are even asking for. It's something that would not really worth it. But most of the top hierarchy, they are either Muslim or Christian, and we are all aware of the fact that it is stated in the Quran and the Bible that whoever works for you, don't allow the sweat of that person to dry before you pay him or her. And you have people. These are people that have wages to pick. They have families to feed.
They go to the same market.
They go to the same market with all of us. They have children who go to school. They will pay their bill. Yes, you are denying them their time. You are not doing them any favor. It is their right. Because that is the kind of thing that can even entice them, that can even encourage them to be there. Because ordinarily, if you post most of the policemen there, most of them will reject it. Because nobody wants to die. They know that their life is not guaranteed. Even as they were marching on that day, all these terrorists, they can take advantage of the situation and open fire. It has happened countless times, whereby security men were killed.
Hope these guys, they hope they are not going to be victimized. And one, and number two, I want us to look at, apart from these guys in Maiduguri, in all formations, the Inspector General of Police actually said it, the welfare of the Nigerian police guys, and the welfare has been very, very poor. And if you expect SARS not to misbehave, if you expect SARS not to go on, you know, extortion spree and running after Yahoo boys to collect money, if you expect SARS not to follow you to the ATM and, you know, withdrawing money, or police not to transfer money to your account by act of intimidation, something must be done about their remuneration and welfare in terms of holistically looking at the entire force.
I must confess that I'm totally scandalized that the police allowed this to happen, or they allowed this to get to this point for these men to come out to state their case. We all understand, in other crime, I have a friend who is a Nigerian, who is in the American army. When he was deployed, when the Afghanistan war was hot, he was deployed there and he went there. And I asked him, I said, oh boy, Afghanistan, what did you go there to do? Why did you agree? He said, it's okay. I said, why? He said, well, he knows that his allowances, his out of station, all those things, he's going to get a lot of money. And that if anything happens to him,
take care of his family.
They will take care of his family.
There was a time Nigerians, that's what they do. They just enter the US Army and Marine.
So why should our own case be different? You send people to a war zone, because take it or leave it, Maiduguri is a war zone. You send these people to the war zone, 5 months, no allowances, no. Why must they sleep in the corridor? Is it to make them active or what? A man who doesn't have a proper sleep can never be active, can never respond to. So why should
Asuko just even painted the picture? If you follow us, if you follow any election now, this Ekiti State election they're going to do, you will see it. You can rest assured. They will bring people from Ondo State Police Command.
Exactly.
They will bring people from Osun State.
Everywhere.
They are all going to be in front of that police headquarters in Ado Ekiti, and they are going to sleep there.
They are going to sleep there. Why?
Why should that happen? 30,000, 40,000 like sardines.
The money has been budgeted for. So what happened to it? Who are the people who are taking it? And as Wahid said, all these people, the people in charge are either Christians or Muslims. And they all go to churches, we all go to mosque and pray. Yet you hold the money, the sweat of another man, and you think it will be well with you. And then, until we begin to ask questions, until actions are taken, first of all, it's good that the Inspector General, whether he was summoned or he went by himself or whatever, to go and meet the...
It might be even beyond, it might be beyond the Inspector General of Police. I'm looking at that scenario.
Yes.
Because of the bureaucracy and everything.
Yes, but whatever it is, wherever the fault comes from, something must be done. If nothing is done, this thing will continue. And these people, if you open them too much to temptation, they are open to so many things that they wouldn't have done under a normal circumstance.
We've read stories about policemen, renting their ammunition to robbers.
Yes.
We've heard stories about policemen even going for robberies.
Yes.
We've heard stories about, policemen having to drag people to ATM to collect money.
Yes.
We heard people about policemen even giving tip-off to armed robbers and all this. The genesis is about remuneration, welfare, the poor welfare packages. But when you see a policeman carrying bag for a civilian, a 419, Yahoo boy, a policeman will be following him with AK-47, and you begin to say, who is this person? They will tell you that he went to one DPO and paid that DPO 50,000 naira, and so he's now a property of one Yahoo boy or one irresponsible element.
That is because they are not taking good care of these guys.
Yeah.
If, for instance, I know in some climes, it's always a joy for people to have a police officer.
Yes.
You understand?
Yeah.
But there's so many, I'm not sure there's 90 to 80% of police officers in Nigeria will be happy. they might just be there because maybe because of these things that you are saying. They are seeing small money from the Yahoo boys. They are seeing small money from the big men. Some of them have been deployed to Madame, where they will be carrying bags and they are seeing, you understand, getting money outside their regular pay.
Because those take home cannot take them home.
Definitely can't take them home. Because when once a police officer stays there, if you go to a police barracks, for instance, in all the forces that we have, security agencies, the police barracks is the most dirtiest.
Yeah, it's the worst.
And it is not their fault. It is how they have built that place. And then the orientation and the training that they have given to them from day one. That is why their barracks is always dirty. Because I know if you go to the Air Force barracks, it's as clean as anything.
Yeah.
Because that is how it's being maintained. The Air Force barracks is very, very clean. But the police barracks is an eyesore.
It's an eyesore.
In fact, so when one has
you can't reason well in that kind of environment.
When
one has that mentality, you even know
good children.
You even know that even we are even at risk. Because when someone is coming out from an environment that is not sane, and you give that person
the rifle,
you know what it means.
If you
they are trying to, I think maybe the federal government got wind of this. They were embarrassed and they had to summon the IG of police to give them the position of things. Or do you see any connection between the meeting of the vice president and the inspector general?
I don't think it's a coincidence. They must have called him. You know, we got to hear about the news.
And it was the vice president.
It was early enough. You know, it was all over the internet as early as around 3, 4. Almost everybody was aware. You know, that a thing like that was going on in Maiduguri. I said that we don't know the magnitude. You know, so they must have summoned.
We have a clean feed.
So they must have summoned the Inspector General of Police to come and explain. You did say something the other time that maybe it is not his fault. It has to do with bureaucracy and what have you. That's why I said the issue of communication is very important. You know, this is time they're supposed to be paid. You waited for first month, second month, third month, fourth month, fifth month.
And then the PRO is sending that kind of press statement.
They were asking questions. I don't know.
Moshood is not a professional.
I don't think we should
forget about that.
He's not a professional. Police spokesman. I can cite cases and
he was just trying to be. I don't know. Maybe it was semantics because what we saw.
No, it's stupid semantics.
What we saw is nothing but protest. People were agitating. They were saying that they were even to the extent of calling for the removal of the IG.
Yeah, exactly.
One of them even said
I have my first caller.
I
have my first caller on the line. Peter is calling us from Lagos. Thank you for staying with us, Peter.
Yeah, I really want to comment on this matter because I have cried. I have watched policemen. I have seen them suffer. You know, it's unfortunate that I saw on news the other day that the president said they want to share partial loot to family, to house. And we have policemen who are suffering day and night. We have policemen who use their money to buy uniform. If in 2019, anybody that wants to govern us as a president should campaign, we should hold them accountable. If they will not pay police like senators, they will not rebuild their barracks, they will not pay soldiers and customs like the way they are paying senators. I think we don't need a president anymore. You know, people are suffering every day. And these are people who, you know, are carrying AK-47. And if the IG himself doesn't even know what people are suffering.
Thank you, Peter. Thank you for your contribution. You can't have a child and you ask that child, what do you want to become in Nigeria? And say, I want to be a policeman.
Look, have you ever engaged a policeman in a discussion? In a true, honest discussion.
It depends on maybe the officer or the rank and file.
Whatever.
I know, I've engaged 5 officers.
I'm talking of, well, you see, when you talk about officers, they are a different cadre entirely.
Honestly.
When you talk about the ordinary policeman, we only, in fact, one of them told me one day that you people always talk about the 20 naira we collect at checkpoint. Do you know the millions or thousands that our Oga collect in the office? And this is true. And the fact is that they are so pauperized. If you don't, what is the take-home pay of a policeman. If he dies on duty, what happens? The next day, the next 2-3 days, if he's lucky to be in the barrack, the family is ejected from the barrack. And this is a man who has perhaps lived all his life in the barracks. The pay is not enough for him to do anything. He doesn't have any house anywhere. They throw out the family from the barracks, and that's the end. These people, just as the caller said, there must be a way to remunerate these people and make it a very attractive.
And to a large extent, somebody was telling me about the Federal Road Safety Corps. To a large extent, I gathered that their remuneration and everything, you can see it is reflective on the way they discharge their duty.
And the way they talk to you.
It's not,
you know, it can see, and that is the difference. That is from the police.
I'm telling you, the difference between a Road Safety Corps member and the Nigerian police is like light and darkness.
There was a forum I was involved in some time ago, a former police commissioner. After he spoke to a group of journalists, after all the talks, he said, gentlemen, please, can you put off your tape and let's talk like brothers.
Off record.
Off record. He said, a policeman, that I am a police, I was a police commissioner, but the first thing I will advise you is that if a policeman stops you on the road, stop. No matter how rude he is to you, please try and be gentle to him. Not because I'm condoning it, but the reason is that this man has perhaps been in the sun since morning, and he saw you, a young man, driving a fine car. The first thought in his head is that maybe you are one of the thieves and all that. So if you say anything, if he kills you, yes, we might dismiss him, but you are already
to bring back your life.
So he advised us that, look, you must, because he confessed himself that he wished he could change the system when he was there, but there's nothing he could do. So what do you do?
Like he said, you can imagine if you have an encounter with any of those guys yesterday, maybe
exactly
after. You know, this is somebody who is aggrieved. You know, he can easily transfer the aggression.
Let's quickly take this call. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. I want to contribute for this, to this police welfare.
All right, go ahead, please.
Good. Now, let us start from the beginning. If you transfer a policeman from Sokoto to Calabar, this policeman is on his own in terms of transportation, in terms of accommodation, in terms of inconveniences, and so on and so forth. Now, he has to take care of all these things. He has to move his family with his own money to Calabar. In those days, there used to be a vehicle would be provided by the police and convey him and his properties to Calabar. But these days, nothing like that. It is not as if federal government or the government is not providing all these things or is not making budget for it. But the challenge we have in the police, I am a retired police officer. Okay. The challenge we have in the police is that at the top management level, this thing never traced down to, it never traced down to the divisional level. And because of that, the DPO cannot provide. The zonal commissioner, the command commissioners cannot provide this thing. And they will sit on this money and they will take it.
Thank you, Ihomole. Thank you. That's an active participant there and he's giving us a true life experience. That means sometimes the buck stops on the table of the guy at the top. Inspector General of Police, please, the DIGs and police management, please, let's always avoid this kind of situation. It's very, very embarrassing. Still to come, Jonah Jang denies having a hand in Plateau killings as Pastor Adeboye lends his voice. Stay with us. It's still Journalist Hangout. We'll be right back after this breather. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is your groundbreaking program of the year, Journalist Hangout. We're reaching you live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria. The blame game and the public outcry trailing the latest killings in Plateau states are yet to die down. as authorities concerned continue to find answers to the killings. Former Governor Jonah Jang has absolved himself of any culpability. The senator representing Plateau North, who spoke with journalists in Jos, denied any involvement in the massacre and labeled such insinuation as nonsense. He urged people to stop playing politics with the issue. The League of Clergymen crying out loud against the spate of insecurity in the country is also growing. The General Overseer of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, condemned the killings. The clergyman called for pragmatic approaches to tackle insecurity in Nigeria. Let me start from the angle of Jonah Jang. Jonah Jang is a Birom man, and the Miyetti Allah had severally accused this people, the Birom people. They are the majority in Jos, in Plateau State, and they've accused them. So, at what point in time did Jonah Jang was Jonah Jang name mentioned?
I think it was because of a protest that happened yesterday in Abuja, where a group, I think Middle Belt Network or something, they were accusing Jonah Jang as well as T.Y. Danjuma that the federal government should prosecute them. For what? For the killings and all. But I think that protest...
They are not hired protesters.
That's where I'm going to. At this point that we are, I think we need to start looking. I know everybody has a right to protest.
In Abuja, protest in Abuja
you can
is
go there,
one for one.
vent to anger,
unemployed youths, just gather them together.
Do whatever you want to do.
Give them posters and give them t-shirts.
When once you are protesting, please make sure that you have enough evidence to back up your protest. Because because I know Jonah Jang was saying something about even suing a particular person who went on TV to accuse him or of sponsoring these killings. Jang has been the governor for 8 years. He was there. He's from Birom, and I don't see the reason or any sense in somebody who comes from a particular tribe would want to kill his own people. It's not done anywhere. Because that is what he's saying. How can I be a governor for 8 years and then now send people to go and kill my people? And not just that, he's also a 7th senator.
Yeah, representing
Plateau North. So if people are accusing other people, they must have evidence, enough evidence to back up their facts.
Not just smear names.
Not just to smear names. This is election period. And people will just be coming up with so many things. I think a week or two ago, we heard how the DSS arresting Suswan. And we were on this same table and saying that I hope that they have enough evidence to back up their claims that sponsoring killings in Benue, even though they linked him with a particular killer, accused killer, one guy called Ghana. So we have to be very, very careful. Anybody accusing any particular person, be it low or high or low, the person must have substantial evidence. We know that you want to protest. The police will give you your protection if you write to them. They will definitely give you your protection. But don't forget that where your own rights stops is where another person's own begins. Because by the time Jonah Jang will now want to take up his own rights to sue, the person is going to be in trouble because you must provide enough evidence to back up your claims.
Jang also urged people to stop playing politics with this issue. As in, at what point in time that the crisis in Plateau States, a lot of people will say there's a political coloration. Do you agree with that school of thought?
I think so, in the sense that, I'm not too sure, but I think to some extent there's a connection between what Jonah Jang said earlier, when the massacre took place. He did advise the governor that the governor should stop deceiving people, he should stay with his people, stop saying that you have created an island of peace in a state where people are being killed almost on a daily basis. But perhaps that one did not go down well with the supporters of the governor. Maybe that is why some of them are now coming from this angle of, you know, you are the one. What will it gain? You are not. It would have been a different thing if you have accused him of killing people outside his own ethnic group, because he also has a vital question. He said, does it mean that I want to kill my people so that I will be the only Baron man standing? You know, I don't think there is any sense in it. Whoever alleges must prove. If you think you have enough evidence, because you never can trust politicians anyway, if you think you have enough evidence, it is that evidence that you bring forward to the appropriate authorities. These are my evidence. This is the reason why I said this man is behind the killing. Let them investigate. You know, it's quite unfortunate. I like the angle that Pastor Adeboye, you know, also brought to the issue. He asked for pragmatic approach to security challenges that we are having in the country. Unlike, there was a video of a cleric that went viral last week, whereby he said people are being killed on a daily basis. We all agree. But I was shocked when he said no single arrest has been made by the constituted authorities, and that government has not even in any way condemned the heart. And I was scandalized. How could anybody say that? And for the fact that you are a clergy, you have your followers. You have your followers. People are likely to believe what you are saying as the gospel truth. Because if you also listen to Babadibu, he said we should stop these clashes, we should stop these hate speeches. Because these are the things that are fueling the crisis. Fake news. Even journalists, we have been dragged into it.
No, not journalists. You know, social media errats, erodents.
Even some journalists are part of it.
Emergency journalists.
we by now going to have learned enough lesson from what happened in Rwanda. You know, a radio presenter will go on here, and because he has a lot of, he had a lot of followers, he had a lot of influence in society. And he was telling people that these are cockroaches, you know what to do to them. And people will gather, people will resume as if they are going to work in the morning, and they will go to different places to go and kill. And they will converge again in the night to explain how they kill people. And they were happy about it. I think we have enough lessons to learn from Rwanda crisis, and we should not allow it to happen in Nigeria.
The Pastor Adeboye has spoken, and the Christian Association of Nigeria is different for they've been speaking against these killings and everything. Let me attend to this caller first. Abdul Salam.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right.
Yes, I greet you in high spirit.
Thank you.
I'm following all your discussion. I'm calling from Sokoto.
Okay.
Yeah, I just want to contribute about the plateau killing.
Yeah.
Yes, sometimes I feel baffled on the way journalists, especially those in the online media, contribute to some of these issues of killings when they arrive. The ugly headline, okay, and also the way the narrations go. Sometimes those of us that are from the north don't always feel comfortable the way actually the analysis is going. You see, at our end here, from Kebbi State, 2 people were massacred just on their way from a wedding ceremony from a Bauchi to Abuja. Their vehicle was trapped and they were all burnt beyond recognition. But when you come to analyze some of these things, the only thing you will say is that people have been killed. Who killed those people that were coming from Bauchi to Abuja? I think we have to be very careful so that we don't add insult to the injury. We don't continue to fuel these crises. So we have to look for solutions. The way some of these analyses are done, some of us at this end feel that it is always being biased against us.
Okay, thank you, Abdul Samad. Most of these journalists they are talking about, they are not trained journalists, they're online journalists, and I make bold to say that in our job we have what we call ethics, fairness, objectivity is always our watchword and tenets, and there's no how we can come and here to accuse any ethnic group without the ability to substantiate or hard fact, and it's not, we don't come here to prosecute. So Abdul Samad, we've noted your now
Let me...
Okay.
Now, in response to him, I want to say clearly that there's no life that is greater than the other. Every life taken matters. So it doesn't matter whether it's a Birom,
or from Angas,
Fulani,
or from Lantang,
Yoruba, or whatever.
The same blood
Life
all of us.
is life. And coming to the issue of whether Jonah Jang will kill his own people or not, I was born in Jos. I grew up in Jos. I even wrote a book a few years ago about Jos. What I know very clearly is this. If there is any man that will turn against his people, it will never even be Jonah Jang. So Jonah Jang cannot in any way sponsor people to kill his own people. And the allegations that are being made, as we have said, these are times, these are perilous times, these are interesting times. People make wild allegations.
Wow.
Allegations they can never...
Wow, though.
I mean, there are so many allegations flying around in the country today. This one is this, that one is that. And you will be foolish to believe everything you hear. Personally, I don't believe that someone who has been a governor for 8 years, who is also representing the same people, we now send people to kill them, who will vote for him at the next election if he kills his own people. So we should be very, very careful when we make allegations.
Asuko, I think it's better our clerics, it's better they've started speaking up, because both the Christians and the Muslims, they have a kind of hold on their followers. And if we are saying it in our churches, you are saying it in our mosque, and we are preaching peace, I think it will go a long way to foster peace, peaceful coexistence.
I think it was 2 weeks ago or last week that I said that the two major things that can polarize Nigeria is either our religion, or our ethnicity. You know, those two things are
the religion is the worst.
You know, the religion. Because the religion is the worst because of how the economy is. So many people are now running to churches and going to mosques for taking solace there. You know, because
miracle centers.
You know, that all is over. It. So because that
all
is
our factories have been converted into branches. All our factories.
You know, so
warehouses.
We are waiting for God.
So because that is the only hope Nigerians now have. They aren't gone to. And so it means that these clergymen have a strong influence over people. Whatever they say, whatever they bring out from that pulpit, it goes straight down into the hearts of
someone. So they can't afford to be careless.
So they can't afford to be careless with their statements.
Yeah. Because I've been reading some clergymen lately.
Exactly. So that's
powerful ones, though.
That is why
that you won't just expect
some of them are
those statements
always,
to be coming out.
You know, some of them will rain curses on people. They will rain curses on, you know, and that is very, very, very critical at this moment.
Where is that Bible verse that pray for the peace of Jerusalem?
You know, there are so many Bible verses, you know, that talks about peace. For instance, if there is no peace in Nigeria, even they themselves,
they can't function.
They can't function.
Yeah.
Nobody will who
is going to attend service when I want to save my life and my family or myself?
Who will pay tithes?
Who is going to pay tithes?
When things
where
are
will
rough
you get
outside?
the offering to buy? There won't be any presidential jet anymore.
No.
Just like Waheed said, during the Rwanda genocide, everybody started looking out for himself.
Yes.
Well, I pray we'll not get to that
God forbid. And one thing about war is that when once it starts, the ending we don't know.
We don't know.
And that is why we are begging our clerics, we are begging our clergymen, please, be very careful what you
I think I have Rufiat is calling us from Makurdi.
Okay.
Isiaq from Makurdi. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
You guys are doing a nice job, fantastic job. God bless you.
Thank you, Isiaq.
I will make a little contribution based on what allegation on Jan.
Okay.
It will be unfair. It will be unfair to accuse somebody like Jan is the one sponsoring those things.
Yeah.
It will be unfair. to accuse somebody like Jan for doing that. It's unfair. Secondly, I would like Nigeria to look at, we don't have any other country other than Nigeria.
That is it.
We should stop politicizing everything and keep religion aside. That's what all this thing that is going on. They are trying to give me religion coloration. And the moment you take religion coloration, it will not be well for all of us. Please, please, I'm urging on them, the Birom, the Fulani, the whatever tribe they are. Please, tolerance is the best answer for each and every one of us. Because without it, we will not be here. I will not be able to stay in my purpose of listening, watching what you people are doing.
Exactly.
Please, I'm urging on your people are living in jobs.
Thank you, Ishak. You notice, if it's anything to do with maybe a particular political party or a certain government, you see some set of people automatically, they will abuse anybody. They will do everything to do anything. But, you know, if you mention another political party, some set of people, 2015 election, so much divided us.
Seriously.
Divided us across ethnic, across religion, across everything.
I think that's where our problem started. And I remember in one of my columns, immediately Buhari was sworn in, I did predict that he's going to rule over a divided nation. Going by the kind of campaign, it was unprecedented in the history of this country. The kind of hate speeches, the kind of pull him down by all means, you know, people sponsor all manner of adverts in the newspaper, on TV, on radio. People left issues. And they were attacking personalities.
The same trend now.
You know,
that is what we are
saying. So it is not surprising that we are having this kind of problem. The truth is that some people still carry the bitterness of the outcome of that 2015 election till today. Till today. For how long are we going to continue to do that as a nation? You know, but what is important is that whoever killed, you know, must be arrested. Exactly. If it is the same blood that flows in the vein of all of us, if people rush to castle and they kill Fulani, it is the duty of the government to look out for the killer, fish them out, prosecute them in accordance with the law. Yes, exactly. If the Fulani thinks that because they have rustled their castle, they don't want to wait for government to do the needful, they now went for retaliation. You have to look for them too. And prosecute them. And you must do it.
The sad part of it is that they are also victims. You can. It has nothing to do with Fulani because a Fulani man will also be victimizing another Fulani man.
Because if you fail
all the rustlers, what they are doing, their victims are Fulani people.
Exactly. If you fail to do it,
that's nothing to do with.
If you fail to do it, the danger in it is that people will resort to self-help.
That is what
and
is
when they do
now.
that, they will continue to kill innocent people. People that know nothing about the crisis will be killed. You know, even during war situation, we are all aware of the fact that there are some level of decorum. Yeah. You know that during war, you can't kill women.
You can't kill women and children.
You can't kill children.
But in this
but what we have now, they kill women, they kill children, they kill old people, you know.
It's a terrible thing.
It's bad.
All right.
Do something about it.
Okay, we have to move on. Gentlemen, the right to personal liberty granted under the Constitution should be freely enjoyed by citizens in a democracy without breach. But when such rights are trampled upon or denied anyone, the judiciary should rise to the challenge of restoring such rights. The Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday granted bail to the immediate past National Security Advisor, that's retired Colonel Sambo Dansuki, who has languished in the DSS custody for 2.5 years. The judge, Justice Ijoma Ojukwu, who granted the bail, ruled that the detention of Dansuki since December 2015 could not be justified. But having been granted bail by various trial courts in the past without compliance, will Dansuki get liberty this time around? Gentlemen, let me start by saying, I think this should be the third or the fourth court, or the fourth time that...
But this is the sixth time is getting bail.
So what... I want us to put this card on the table. Yeah. Nigerians will want to know. Some people will say because it has to do with national security, what they're holding him for. Why has the federal government not complied with any of this court the judgment?
National security is a nebulous term. everyone that is arrested for anything or whatever is always detained under the nebulous act of is a threat to national security, this, and that. Now, if a court of competent jurisdiction, is that not what they call it, has pronounced that you should grant the man bail, what stops the court, what stops the government from granting him bail, put him under house arrest? Every visitor that he wants to receive, you vet such a visitor before you allow him to receive the visitor. If he has to go out, maybe you restrict his movement or have some modalities drawn out. And then, but why keep him perpetually from 2015 up till now? I still don't understand. I've been trying to grasp what it is. What is the national security that is at stake if you release him? Is it that he's going to import some soldiers to invade Nigeria or what? Or he's going to say something that the country will burn down or what?
One they call something national security,
Yeah.
as you
And
said.
That's why I said
As I said earlier,
it's an omnibus for so many.
You can't predict. Please give me a kind of insight to why the federal government has continued to flout the others by these courts.
Well, the only excuses they have given is that if they release him, it's going to be a threat to national security. The second being the fact that he's being investigated for money laundering. But if you look at the pronouncement of the judge faulted those two aspects. She did lay emphasis on the fact that fundamental human rights and rule of law, they are ingredient part of democracy. You can't switch them from democracy if you want democracy to thrive. So because of that, you have to release. You have to release him. Somebody has been in detention for over 2 years. What sort of investigation are you still carrying out? To the extent that you can. She also advised that what they should be concerned about is diligent prosecution. Get your facts right, and bring it before the court. If the court finds enough reason to put him in jail, the court will do it. Not that you keep him in perpetual detention. And we say we are running democracy. What sort of democracy is that? The other time, some people say maybe the federal government, has knowledge of certain security issues that we are not aware of. But why not take those things before the court? These are the reasons. This, like Yinka said, it's a nebulous term when you say you are detaining somebody under national security. But there should be specifics. If you can't make the specific public, at least in the law court, you can go to the judge and say, these are the reasons. This man will consider himself into a danger. We are aware of the fact that he wants to bring in machinery to overrun the government. Once you have evidence, the court can look into it. But not this noblest term of national security. He has been in detention.
I have a friend who is highly placed there, and anytime we get to discuss on this program, after this program, sometimes he will just call me and say, I was just looking at you guys, you're just talking and laughing. Because there are some things happening that you don't understand. And we can't start telling you that this thing has to do with national security. And when it is national security, another guys of national security, government can, there is a tendency for government to act ultra-virus. How do they call it?
If you are operating there, if you are operating democracy, let's operate them. If we know we don't want democracy, we should tell ourselves the truth.
Even in some other climes,
yes, they know.
The guys of national
but do
security,
they do it in such a way that they will keep somebody from 2015 till date? You understand? There must be a reason. You must have enough evidence. You can't tell me that, okay, somebody is a security risk, and then the court tells you, bring the evidence, and you don't have evidence. At least there should be an iota, because I believe if they even bring something to, because first they were saying he had illegal harms or something in his house. They went there, they checked, and they charged him for that, and he was granted bail for that. You understand? Then they brought another charge. Now they have even removed all the, so he doesn't even have anything. So now they are even going to start that case.
What has the federal government told us so far about Sambo Dasuki?
What they are telling you is that they have been bringing different charges. National security is a security risk.
illegal possession of arms and all that.
And illegal possession of arms, and then money laundering. So it depends on what the federal government, maybe the federal government, they have so many things against Dasuki that we don't know. But what they should be doing, what the federal government should do now, is for them to take back that case. If they know they have evidence, take back the case to court.
And start the trial proper.
And start it proper.
Yeah, you see, the issue of national security can even be so trivialized that I'm eyeing a woman and maybe somebody in government is eyeing a woman, and then they will now come and arrest me and say that I'm a threat to national security.
I don't think so.
What is the national security they are talking about now? What is it? I mean, is it that...
Things that you can't disclose to the public. Things that cannot be disclosed. You know, there was a time they were even talking about... There was a time the federal government was talking about...
Is the judge...
Close trial.
Yes.
Is the judge... Is it that they can't disclose it to the judge or even the Chief Justice of the Federation that, look, these are the issues that we have. You are the Chief Justice of the Federation. You know the issue of security. These are the issues we have against this man. Can you pronounce that, yes, we have evidence? We can. But... nothing like that has ever happened.
You just said close
trial. So
trial.
what is national security?
They can do the close trial if they really want to nail him, in quotes.
Exactly.
Do the close trial, get all the evidence to the judge. Then from there they will move. It's just a ruling. Then from there they move to another. And then he will now appeal. From then the sentence will come. But if you keep him, if the president keeps this, keep acting this way, people will keep saying is a despotic person, you know, and that is what he doesn't.
And you know, so many meanings have been read into it. Yeah, whether he was the one who arrested him when
in 1984,
you know.
And I'm also
there are so many reasons that have been read into it.
Even with the whole thing, well, the judge would have said so many things, but I'm also looking at the bail conditions. You know, getting who is going to even bail him.
Yeah.
The person has to have, it must be a civil servant, must have 100 million, and must bring evidence, must bring your letter of employment, appointment, letter of promotion,
you can get
and so many things.
But if that is too stringent, if those conditions are too stringent,
civil servant we civil servant we agree that he has 100 million.
Wait now, somebody stood for Nnamdi Kanu now. What I'm saying is that
and you keep the 100 million till the end of the trial.
I think what the judge did.
There's something in law. There's something they call. They can appeal the bail conditions so that they can appeal to the judge to vary.
I think the judge also envisages the fact that, you know, it will be difficult to get civil servants to come out, you know, because of fear of being victimized. That's why she also brought the angle of a private person. So I don't think that one should be difficult, you know, to get. They have individuals who have property in Abuja who also have 100 million naira that they can deposit till the end of the. Like he said, Kanu was able to find such a person. Yes. So it should not be difficult for a man of his status, you know, to find that kind of person.
I think they even said for Kanu, they even said somebody practicing his faith. That somebody
and they brought a rag
they got a Jewish
so Nigerians will always find their way out.
So and at once go back to the same court. They vary the bail time. I want to thank you. Asuko James. Thank you for being part of this edition. Thank you Wahid Bakari. Thank you for being part of this edition. And Yinka Egbile. Babajide Toju is still in his third of the northern axis of the country, and hopefully we're expecting back soon, pretty soon, don't worry. A lot of people have been calling me to ask after Babajide Toju. He should be somewhere being in Kano on his way to Castina right now. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11. You can also watch Journalist Hangout on our platforms showing on the screen. You can also catch us on YouTube. That's youtube.com/tvcnews.com. I'm Ayodele Ozubaku. See you tomorrow.